Story 1. You and the children can stay, but she can't. The past few months have been incredibly difficult. Near the end of last year, we lost our house and nearly everything we owned in a fire. It was a freak accident that has been devastating for my family of 4. We were at a school recital when a neighbor called, and we returned to find our house engulfed in flames. The fire department tried their best, but the damage was extensive. We ended up selling the property and moving, as the repairs were essentially a complete rebuild. Throughout our 10-year marriage, my mother-in-law has never liked me. However, I never imagined she would behave as she did during this crisis. I believe that even if she didn't like me personally, she would support us in a time of need, considering I am the mother of her 2 grandsons and the wife of her son, and I make them happy. I was wrong. On the night of the fire, we needed a temporary place to stay. My husband suggested his mother's house, as it was late and seemed the most logical option. We drove there, leaving our half-asleep boys in the car while we spoke to her. Initially, she expressed sympathy and offered to let my husband and son stay, but refused to include me. She claimed I wasn't true family, and she had never approved of our marriage, so I wasn't her responsibility. My husband was furious and argued with her, but she wouldn't change her mind. We left and spent the night in our car, eventually getting a motel the next day. She later called, inviting us to stay again, this time graciously offering me the garage for a few days. We declined, and my husband told her she was being incredibly disrespectful. She became angry, accusing us of rejecting her generosity. She then offered to take the boys, so they wouldn't have to stay in a motel while we tried to rebuild our lives. Again, we refused. A few days later, we learned she was bad-mouthing me, claiming I was destroying the family with my grudges during this difficult time. She portrayed herself as having immediately opened her home to us, only to be rejected by me, forcing my husband and sons to live in a cheap motel because of my dislike for her. My husband corrected her narrative, but she persisted. She even filed an official complaint with the fire department, falsely accusing me of deliberately causing the fire to destroy the house and orchestrate this situation. She alleged I was money-hungry and wanted to steal her house. I was questioned by the authorities, which I understood, given the nature of the allegations. However, the investigation proved the fire was an accident, and I was completely cleared. Later, she appeared at the burned-out house while we were salvaging what we could. She made dismissive comments, saying we shouldn't be upset because they were just things. But they weren't just things. I wasn't grieving for the stove or the couch. I was grieving for the irreplaceable arts and crafts projects my sons made for me every Mother's Day. I was grieving for the lost family heirlooms and the lost memories. We had put a lot of work into that house, doing much of the restoration ourselves, the painting, the sanding, to save money. My youngest son had left his gaming console at her house after a weekend visit with his father. She claimed she didn't have it and that we must have taken it back. My son insisted he had told her he was leaving it there for his cousin to use. She gaslit him to tears, insisting we had taken it and it was probably lost in the fire. We later learned from others that she had given it away after we refused her initial offer of hospitality. The only positive outcome of this ordeal is that it was the final straw for my husband. We went no contact with her and shortly before moving, cut off all contact. She has been trying to get our address from other family members, but so far, she has been unsuccessful. My husband has made it clear that he will cut off anyone who provides her with our address or contact information. If she can't support us at our lowest point, she doesn't deserve to be part of our lives when things are better. Comment 1. What the hell? She gave away your son's things knowing he had nothing left? I know she did a lot more, but that is just doing my brain in. The denying you help when you needed it was just pure bullshit, and I am glad it has opened your husband's eyes. Comment 2. What a psycho, OMG. Never let her see your kids again, please. She graciously permit me to stay in the garage for a few days. What a generous God. She treats you like you're the family dog or something. Or worse. Comment 3. What a horrible, spiteful lady. Even trying her tactics on your children. I hope she gets in trouble for the false accusations to the police for telling them you set the fire. P.S. Love your husband's shiny spine. Story 2. Atrophy wife named a dog after me. I am the woman whose mother-in-law wouldn't allow her to stay with her after we lost our home in a fire. We are now no contact with her. I've decided to call her Atrophy wife because that's what she is, a trophy wife. She has been married 5 times and has made a career out of inheriting money. I hope naming her myself is acceptable. Around the 6th year of my marriage, Atrophy wife bought a dog. It was a purebred with numerous health issues and was the runt of the litter, destined to be euthanized had she not purchased it. While I disagree with breeding practices, animal welfare laws in my country are inadequate. She named the dog after me. This female dog was constantly referred to by Atrophy wife as a bitch. Who's a good bitch? You are. You are. OP. I'm getting OP fixed because she's in heat. OP shits on the floor. These are just some of the statements she made about the dog named after me. Atrophy wife was also incredibly cruel to the animal. The dog was very sickly and required significant care, which she neglected. The dog vomited frequently, which the vet said could be resolved with a change in diet. Atrophy wife ignored this advice and continued to feed the dog cooked bones, chocolate, and other harmful foods. She often gave it leftovers of whatever she had cooked. I once witnessed her feed it several slices of cake for dinner. She rarely took the dog to the vet, a responsibility that fell to one of my brothers-in-law who lived with her. The dog's vaccinations were not kept up to date. My husband and I, along with my other in-laws, tried multiple times to take the dog away from her. However, she refused to give it up, and due to the laws in our country, we had no recourse other than to steal the dog. The dog was euthanized at the age of 3 due to severe health problems caused by her mistreatment. Atrophy wife held a pet funeral and prominently used my name on the invitations. My husband received numerous calls from distant relatives and her friends, offering condolences because they were unaware that Atrophy wife was referring to her deceased dog. After the funeral, she threw the dog's ashes in the trash and immediately bought another dog. Comment 1. She treated that dog as though it actually was you. That was also symbolic. Comment 2. I just have to say I love the nickname. I know you meant it as a trophy, but eliminating the space you make it the word atrophy. You basically are saying she is wasting away from the disease of herself, or that she is the disease that causes those around her to waste away and lose themselves. Comment 3/u/realjazz7 has experienced incoherent rage and has stopped working. We apologize for the inconvenience. Comment 4. Oh, she did that death notice thing intentionally. She wanted to cause your husband pain for choosing you over her. What a despicable woman to abuse an innocent animal. I already hated her for stealing your son's game system. You don't mess with a kid's game system. Story 3. Atrophy wife forced plastic surgery on people. It's embarrassing to admit, but with my husband having 8 siblings, not counting step-siblings, I can't ever remember their exact birth order. This story involves one of his younger brothers. Atrophy wife is obsessed with appearances. She dislikes any perceived physical imperfections and strongly believes in fixing them with plastic surgery. My husband had an eye lift and cheekbone enhancement before I met him. 2 of his sisters have had breast augmentation. Atrophy wife identifies what she deems a flaw and bullies the person into surgery. The worst case was his younger brother, who she pressured into a nose job. He was barely 18 and had been hounded since age 14 to fix his nose. His nose was slightly long and a bit large for his face, but it wasn't ugly or deformed. It suited him. It simply didn't conform to her idea of perfect beauty. She finally got her way when he turned 18, taking him to her plastic surgeon. The result was fine, but the surgery was completely unnecessary. Another sister-in-law, who married into the family, was pressured into getting lip fillers. Early in my marriage, Atrophy wife tried to convince me to get a Kardashian-style butt. For almost a year, she nagged me about plastic surgery, stopping only when my husband, fed up, told her he preferred smaller behinds because he had small hands. I can spend days detailing every procedure she's forced on someone. Her behavior was so damaging and vindictive, causing significant self-esteem issues within the family. I nearly came to blows with her when she casually suggested my older son would benefit from having his ears made smaller. My sons and I went no contact with her for about 6 months before we got worn down and saw her again. Comment 1. If you end up having to break NC and she keeps pulling the shit, tell her there is no surgery in the world that could fix her ugly attitude. Comment 2. Surprised she didn't tell him to get bigger hands. Yikes. Comment 3. Too bad plastic surgery doesn't help her brain functions. And the cheapest facelift going is smiling. And free. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.